it's Elisa, the Half Asian Tarot Queen, and I'm doing a reading for the full moon in Virgo. I did a reading for the full moon in Virgo the other day, and it was the most amazing reading with all kinds of synchronicities. It was really great, but then I lost it. So I guess this, this all happens for a reason, but so we're doing a different reading. I want to mention that I am doing a promotion because I started doing this channel for myself because I have PTSD and I had a lot of stuck energies that I had to move out, and so this channel was really great for me to help that happen. And so now there's been a lot of movement and there's a lot of crazy changes that have been happening, and it's been really, I've gotten a lot out of it. So anyways, I am starting to do readings. I'm going to start doing readings, but I'm in the process of putting together a website so that I can do this. I have a limited window of time, but I'm going to start doing readings for people. And so while I'm building my website, I'm doing this promotion right now that I'm going to do one free reading a week while my website's being built. So all you have to do to get the free reading is just subscribe to my channel, and you have a really good chance of winning a free reading because there's not that many subscribers right now, because I was just mostly doing this for myself. So anyways, right now you have a 1 in 15 chance of getting a free reading, which is pretty good odds. So okay, so I accidentally pulled a bunch of extra cards, Mystical Shaman Oracle, my favorite deck right now, and I'm going to just take them. The Rainbow, Many Paths, the Moon, which is appropriate, full moon in Virgo, which I don't know if I mentioned, but that's my sign. And I think I mentioned in the reading that got erased that there was this reading from Chani Nicholas that was hilarious because it was this super healing moon, but it wasn't in a dramatic way. It was more in a, cleaning out your underwear drawer and staying home kind of way, and healing these big wounds. So anyways, the rainbow. So this is really interesting because it's sort of when all your chakras come into alignment and you're in flow, it's just sort of all the forces of the universe are conspiring. They're moving through you and manifesting great things, right? Because you're in alignment. And so this card kind of represents that. It's sort of something great is about to happen because you've come into alignment, which is very cool. So then we have Many Paths. And this is a card that's sort of inspiring you to take a bold move in a positive direction, and don't sell yourself short, because it tells this story in this card of there's these two people and they're squaring stones, in they're stonemasons. So they asked the one guy, what are you doing? And he's I'm laying stones down, and that's it, And they asked the other guy, and they're both basically doing the same thing. But the other guy's I'm building a cathedral, because he's becomes part of something that's bigger than himself. And there's power in that, And so this card is inspiring you to, step into your power. You've come into alignment. And, step into your power, be bold, be part of something bigger than yourself, because that's what's going to propel you into, great things. And then we have the moon, which is appropriate because it's a full moon in Virgo. And for me, it's particularly appropriate because I'm a Virgo. So I'm step into your power, But so the moon, it's just sort of honoring the cycles of life, and knowing, the thing that just came into my head is like, I don't know if you know this song from the 80s, but it's the The Gambler by Kenny Rogers, and it's like you gotta know when to like fold him and like know when to walk away and know when to run, you know, like know when to hold him, know when to fold him, you know when to walk away and know when to run. And it's all just about honoring the cycles of life and like knowing when you're on top and when you're on bottom, and like, you know, being humble enough to know, you know, like I feel like something like that really big just happened to me this week, you know, because like I went through this whole thing because I had this vegan cheese company, and it was like my true passion and heart and calling in life. And like, you know, there's like a life cycle of business that goes along with that, you know, and it's like you can swim upstream and try to fight it, you know, because it's your dream and you want it to keep going, you know, but like you also have to recognize the larger cycles of life that you're in, you know, and that like sometimes there's strength in like moving on to the next thing, or, you know, knowing that it's not your moment, you know, like there's power in that too, you know, because the cycle will come back around, you know. So it's like important to know where you are in the cycle, you know, because, you know, we're all part of this larger universe, and none of us are all powerful, you know, like it's just like sort of like, do you want to swim upstream or do you want to swim with the current, you know, of the universe and have it like help you, you know? And so then there's thunder. So there's like an ominous wake up call that's coming, like some big shakeup that's happening for this full moon, where it's just sort of like everything's about to change, you know? Like for me, this reminds me of, so the whole reason I got into the whole vegan cheese empire thing, there's a whole thread about my vegan cheese empire if you're interested. But the whole reason I got into it in the first place is because I got into this horrible car crash. It was a really bad car crash, and I was like crippled, like literally crippled. Like I was in physical therapy for 18 months, and it was my physical therapy project that I started, you know. And so basically, I remember the moment of impact, because it's like you kind of know, you can kind of see it, but it happens so fast that it's like there's nothing you can do to stop it. Like you just have to. And it was like a T-bone accident, you know. So I got like hit like right at the driver door. The other car hit right at the driver door, and like my door smashed into the middle of the steering wheel. And it was only because I didn't have my seatbelt fastened right that I like survived, you know. And I remember, like, I don't remember being in pain at the moment of impact, really. I just remember feeling like all this energy like surging through my body, and like every cell in my body was like spinning in overdrive, you know. And I feel like, you know, afterwards I had all these seizures and all these issues with energy, and that's kind of like what got me on this whole energy healing path, which ultimately led me to doing tarot and stuff, because I have, you know, PTSD and I have all these issues with energy, and it was from that impact, really, you know. So it's like that impact sort of changed my life in just like a moment, you know. And so that's kind of what this card is. It's like something's about to change, and it's gonna be a big change, you know. But you've come into alignment, and, you know, you're in alignment with the larger cycles, you know. So be bold, because something big is going down, you know. Full moon in Virgo, you know. Okay, so I'm going to pull 3 cards from, ooh, I feel like one of these cards was in the reading that accidentally got erased. Ooh, okay, I feel like that one might have been too. All right, so we've got on the bottom of the deck, we have the 3 of Cups, which this is a card of reunion, you know, like coming into your tribe, you know, or you found your people, you know, or you're one, you know. It could be that too. And it's like, I think in the other reading that I did, we had this King of Wands. And the King of Wands, this is like a man who's like a manifester. Like he can turn his emotions into power, you know, like in the 3-dimensional world. Like he's in his power, but it's like he can like turn lead into gold, you know. And so in the other reading, I feel like he was like presiding over, or this might have been in the Star Wars reading. I did this reading with all this Star Wars symbology, which I'll link. But yeah, so the King of Wands. So this is someone who's like stepped into their power, you know, like they're in alignment. They're making a bold move, you know. And then we have the Six of Cups, which is interesting because this is a soulmate card, you know. This is a soulmate from the past that you have a deep connection with it. And it's interesting because this Three of Cups can often signify like a reunion. So maybe like some soulmate is like coming in from the past, you know, that you have a deep connection with. However, we also have the Five of Swords. So this is a card of like somebody's going to lose out, you know, like there's a winner here, but then, you know, at a cost, like somebody else is going to lose out. So that's pretty climactic. Okay, so I'm going to go to Bianco Nero to get some general energies for this reading. But yeah, it looks like a pretty climactic little full moon here, I will say. So, whoops, I just had a bunch. Ooh, just a bunch flopped out. Okay. Wow. Okay. I'll take this one. One more. All right. Okay. All right, so on the bottom we have the Magician. So this is a card of manifestation, which is interesting because it's like, you know, we have this manifester, you know, and this is like someone who, you know, basically can make something out of nothing, you know, because you've come into alignment with your chakras and you're making a bold move, you know, and you're in alignment with all that is, and so you're going to make something happen, you know. That's what this Magician does. So, interesting. And then we have, for cards, we have the Devil, we have the Seven of Swords, and we have the Two of Pentacles. So this is like, so this is like a toxic, it can be like a toxic energy, but it's like, it's powerful. It's a powerful energy, and it's like it's there to teach you a lesson, you know. Because it's sort of like your shadow that's like confronting you, you know, like you can't ignore it. It's like powerful, you know. But then we have the Seven of Swords, which this is a card of deception, and like in the context of this card, like how I'm taking it is because it can often be, I mean, oftentimes when you're deceiving other people or you're doing something, lying, cheating, it's the root of it is that you're deceiving yourself because there's something within your own self that you aren't being honest about, or, you know, and that's what's causing the root of this imbalance, you know. There's some toxic energy that needs to be healed, you know, but like right now it's being juggled, like, because at the end of the day, if you're going to heal the energy, what you have to do is you have to like face it head on, like you have to confront it, acknowledge it, and like feel it and let it go, you know. And so sometimes, like when you have had, like there was a reading yesterday, I believe, and it was all about healing like a trauma from the past, and it's like sometimes some feelings are so traumatic that we like bury them and we repress them because we're not ready to acknowledge them, because when we do acknowledge them, it's going to be so big that, like, you know, the circumstances have to be right in order for you to do that, you know. So it's just sort of like whatever this toxic energy is that we're like deceiving ourselves about, and like it's like we're like juggling it, like we're trying to hide it from ourselves or from other people because we're just not ready to deal with it. Like this happens a lot, you know. But the next card we have is an Ace of Wands. So this is, it's very phallic, but it's a passionate new fiery start, you know. And so and it's coming right under this Devil card. So, and then we have the Fool, and then we have the Five of Pentacles. So this is really interesting because it's just sort of like, all right, we've been juggling this energy for a long time, and like we're ready to face it like head on. Like we're ready to like step into the fire and like be transformed, you know? We're just like, we're going for it, you know? Like we're no longer afraid. We're going to confront this energy head on. So this is interesting because this Five of Pentacles is an energy of lack. So definitely this is an energy that requires healing, you know, and there's a whole thread around this energy of this toxic situation that was rooted in this energy, you know, and there was this stalker that was like, this energy was like fueling this whole stalker situation and this wrong that needed to be righted, because someone was like juggling because they're not able to face this pain, you know. But what it looks like is happening is that somebody is like maybe facing it. They're just like going for it, you know. But it's going to be painful, you know, whatever. I mean, it's like in order to heal the pain, you have to feel, you know, you have to face it and you have to feel it, you know. And so that can be hard to do, you know. So I'm going to pull 3 more cards from Radiant Wise and see if we have any guidance about how we might oh, wow, how we might move through this, you know. Wow. Okay. So, oh my gosh. Okay, so we have at the bottom of the deck, we have the King of Pentacles. And this is particularly interesting because there's this character has been recurring in this thread called Phoenix. And so this King of Pentacles was this king who was really, you know, knows the grindstone. He is working through all this stuff. And he was embroiled in some situation where there was a wrong needing to be righted for his counterpart, the Queen of Pentacles. And this is a storyline that's intersected in the Divine Feminine, the Epic Love Saga, the Phoenix thread, you know, because this king, he needed to learn this spiritual lesson by righting this wrong. And in doing so, he was going to heal the situation and ascend, you know, because he's going to learn the spiritual lesson. He was going to ascend, come into his power, and become an emperor. And then then it turns into this thread called Dynasty. So like all these threads kind of like intersected. So if you haven't watched this channel much before, it's like the readings aren't arranged according to zodiac sign, but they're more arranged according to storylines. So all of the videos are timeless because we're all humans and we all go through, you know, the same stuff, you know. So it's just sort of like, if you're connecting with a storyline, they're arranged in threads on the channel. So that thread, this Phoenix thread, has been a recurring theme for a while. But so anyways, the guidance we have, so we got the Lover's card, we got the Ace of Cups, and we got the Knight of Swords. So this is like some powerful stuff, you know, because it's like basically we have this toxic situation that needs to be healed, you know. I mean, that's the issue. And the advice we have is, you know, there's some deep connection, this deep love, and the truth needs to be told about this. And it's like coming in fast. So like there's some climactic change that's going to happen with this situation where somebody's just like going for it, healing this lack, you know, and it looks like bringing this love into fruition, you know, which is really kind of beautiful. It's just like, I mean, that's what you want to happen in a full moon, right? So I'm going to pull from the Moonology deck, see what we have for the full moon in Virgo. And I have one more moon deck that I'm going to pull from, but this looks like it could be like kind of romantic, you know, like some soulmate connection from the past that like it looks like it's been being repressed for a while, you know, and it's like coming online. So, you know, on the bottom of this deck, it's like, don't let your past hold you back. So it's like, yeah, whatever you've been doing, like, something else, it's changing. Like, you're changing the game. You know, the game is being changed for the full moon. Like, that's what's happening. So, okay, I'm going to pull from the Queen of the Moon Oracle to end the reading. But this looks like it's going to be an interesting moment. So, let's see what we get from this deck. I really love this deck. Kind of on the newer side. Oops, almost more. Okay, so we got Trust. Oh, it looks like there's two cards that came out that are kind of stuck together. Okay, all right. So yeah, Trust. So whatever firestorm it is that you're going to have to go through, just trust that it's going to work out. You are resilient, and, you know, it looks like we're going to be walking through some kind of fire, but it's going to be okay, because that's just kind of like, that's what happens when you know, that's the path to transformation, you know, so don't worry. You're in alignment, and things are going to happen, but there's going to be a thunderous, dramatic moment that's going to happen, and it looks like something that's been holding you back is going to be released. So, you know, clean that underwear drawer. And subscribe to the channel, and you might win a free reading. And I'll be back tomorrow with I think I'll be doing a Divine Feminine reading, because, you know, that's been intersecting with this storyline. But yeah, hopefully you'll be the lucky one. Talk to you later.